Okay. Shall we begin with your questionnaire, Hakeem and Makali?
I beg your pardon, sorry?
Shall we begin with the questionnaire you send us?
Sure, sure. You could go ahead and share your screen
Yeah,
and we could go through it. Or you want to start with the other action item? 'Cause I think that's more pressing, I guess, or are both the same.
Which one, Makali?
That'll be the one with Hakeem and Johannes concerning something that they were discussing.
There's a background noise. Couldn't understand. Okay. Hello, Hakeem, you want to say something or?
Right. I guess we could start with the question that I would have asked, or the change that I would have suggested that prompted the meeting. So, you know, we have Scarborough, we have similar services in Scarborough and Roxborough. So what we're trying to figure out, is there any way on the VIS that we could differentiate between what was done in Scarborough and what was done in Roxborough for each modality?
Per modality.
Because you know, if you go on the workspace tab on the VIS,
yeah,
you would have the modality option where you can select, for example, you could select CT and it will show you all the CTs registered, all done, all in the reading step, etc. But is there any way for us to differentiate in this phase what was done Roxborough? So for example, modality CT, instead of just having CT in general, can it be CT Roxborough Hospital, then CT Scarborough, based on which machine it was either registered on, which machine it was the exam was done on, etc.
So we have something like we are calling it a site configuration. So it means that we have, in general, we have, this is one of our demo servers here, but there are different hospitals. It could be here VEPRO demo hospital, Austrian and German hospital, for example. And if we are have a combination with the users, so the user could be a user from VEPRO Austria, from demo hospital or Germany hospital. And if we are starting a new workflow for this user, for example, you can see my screen, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have here automatically we choosing here a site which is here the VEPRO demo hospital. The VEPRO demo hospital, there are also all the resources are in combination with these hospitals. So that means if I am creating a new order, I can create a new order here for this hospital, but I'm also able to choose the modalities from the other sites. So depending, okay, a CR, if there is an CR from in the other hospital, I can choose it here. And what we are doing here now also is that we are moving this information all the time. We have this information to every workflow, and we have this information also later in our packs. So in the packs, we can filter between, okay, what was done in Roxborough, what was done in Scarborough, depending if we are working with one archive or we are working with different archives. But all the time we have the information, okay, this workflow was done in the VEPRO demo hospital, for example. So this is what I think makes sense for Roxborough and Scarborough, maybe also for Bucco and all the other one, that we can decide, okay, the users are part of the hospital of Scarborough or Roxborough, and if they are logged in, there's automatically a filter for their main site, which they are configured. And if they start then a new workflow, all the time they are starting a new workflow for the hospital, they are if we are starting a new workflow all the time, we are starting a new workflow for the hospital, which we are part of, or the user is part of the hospital. And
also for radiologists, for example, maybe you can also show Johannes the radiologist reading task list from workspace, so they can also filter.
So they can also filter here, okay, or the filter here is automatically decide, but they can delete the filter here, and then they can see all workflows. But if they just would like to see their site, and also maybe for a special name, then we can choose, okay, these doctor, and they can see their reports. Or what do you mean exactly, Cem?
Yeah, this is what I exactly mean. So
okay.
So the radiologist can also individually, let's say, okay, I want to report for Roxborough studies, I want to report for Scarborough. What are the tasks assigned to me?
This like also depends then, okay, is this doctor fixed on one hospital, or is he working for different hospitals? This is then also the question, because if we say, okay, this doctor is fixed for one hospital, then we all the time override the site. So if we are going in the step, for example, procedure, and we are logged in as user for the demo hospital, and we are changing that one, in the next step, the user is logging in at this workflow, he will override the hospital, because he is all the time a user of this hospital. So here we have to maybe look, okay, if it makes sense that a user could be part of more than one hospital. Actually, at the moment we say, okay, the user is part of one hospital, and he's working for that hospital all the time, so he's using that account, and this workflow will all the time the same hospital. Yeah, I can discuss if it makes sense then to have a user for different hospitals, or we say, okay, we're creating an account for the different hospitals. This is also possible, but yeah, depending on what you need, because you have also a big topic, HIS integration, which I know. Yeah, there is the question then, okay, if there is a system before an HIS system, they have to send us all the time HL7 messages with all these information. But yeah, this is then a separate big topic.
Right, so I kind of grasp what you said. This can work. One question: if I select, for example, you have selected there the VEPRO demo hospital.
Yeah.
Right. If I was to select another option, would the modalities that are available to me to select from, would they change? So that it then only shows me the modalities at that other hospital?
So I can say here all sites, and I can see then all the modalities.
Right. And then if I pick one specific site, I should only be able to see the modalities at that one specific site.
Correct.
Right.
There is here the filter then, yeah.
Right.
But the main workflow is all the time, yeah, okay, this then depends. If we say, okay, here it should be fixed, that you are starting a new workflow for Scarborough Hospital, or you are starting a new workflow for Roxborough Hospital. So this one is here what we have to decide. Here the filters, yeah, we can have a look which modality is in use, or which one we would like to use here for the examination. Yeah, so this is just here a filter to select the different modalities, but the main part is actually for which side we would like to start a new workflow, and this one is what we're deciding here on
patient location.
Yeah, patient location, correct.
Yeah.
So you said that has to be fixed, or the user would have the option to change that when they're creating a order for the patient?
At the moment, I think it's fixed, but I think I can discuss it with my colleague that we that we can say also, okay, this is flexible. There is no main hospital which is used, or nothing in combination with the user, but then you have to select it all the time manually.
Because one of the challenges that we have is sometimes our staff is rotated from one hospital to the next one. And then sometimes you may create an order in Scarborough, but it's for a patient that is going to Roxborough.
Okay.
So
what we also can say that we in general say here, okay, Scarborough is all the time what we suggest, and then if you would like to change it, you can change it to Roxborough. So this is also what
can it be set per user?
We can set it also per user. Yeah, then the user needs the role that he is a user from Roxborough or he is a user from Scarborough. And this is then what you also have to add in your Active Directory. I think maybe this makes then more sense that you said, okay, this one is a user from Roxborough. And in this information, we also have as a group in the background. This is a Roxborough user then.
One question, Akim, which users are changing? Which role of this user changing from Roxborough to Scarborough?
So some of the technicians change from Roxborough to Scarborough, and some of the registration staff change from Roxborough to Scarborough as well.
But if they are changing time to time, then does it make sense to relate per user, per site? Because maybe 1 week they're at Roxborough, then the next week they're at Scarborough. Wouldn't make more sense related to manual selective? Because
but that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was thinking it may make more sense to manually select it based on the frequency of the change.
Yeah, maybe Johannes, we can make it as a mandatory field, so nobody forgets.
To fill it, and then they have to choose where they are working at the moment.
Correct. First, empty. It appears as empty, and it's a yellow area which is mandatory. Then the registration person, okay, I'm here, and patient will be scanned at. It could be maybe Scarborough, but patient may be scanned at Roxborough. Then the registration clerk can select, okay, even if I'm sitting in Scarborough, the patient must be scanned, CT scan at Roxborough, then I just select Roxborough and then assign the task to the modality for the work. This maybe it's much more flexible for TRHA.
Yeah, or we say, okay, we are choosing all the time Scarborough, and if they would like to change it, but then maybe someone forget it.
Correct. Maybe they do something
and they
wrong,
starting a wrong workflow for
And it's much better to decide, okay, where is this patient? Then it's a kind of question to the patient. I don't know what's happening during such.
Maybe they are thinking, okay, I have to do all the time one step more, but yeah.
But at least
if it comes up set for a user, they would have the option to be able to change it, correct?
Yeah, they are able to change it. So if it's a mandatory field, then it's empty, but then they have to choose. Okay, is it Roxborough, Scarborough, Bucco? I don't know all the names.
All right. I think for now, well, at least for now, I think we could probably make it a mandatory field and allow them to select it and see how that works.
Yeah, we should provide some mini training also.
Yeah, that will happen as well.
Yeah. So we can do it. Also, Akim, you can do it. It's more up to you. Maybe we train you, and yeah, we can also train end users. This is more, you can decide however you like.
And then also, okay, I know that at the moment you're working with Scarborough and Roxborough, and there is one. Then is also the question: what about the archives? At the moment, I think you have Roxborough and Scarborough. how or where do you store at the moment the images from Buko or other locations? Are all in one archive?
All in the one archive.
All in one archive. Okay, but then is also the question, okay, would you like to filter that one in the future, that you can see directly here also in the packs? Okay, this one is a Scarborough image, this one is a Buko image. This is then also the question if we should configure that the site configuration which you choose here in the VIS already, should it be also visible in the packs? That you can see then here all the time, okay, it's everything is in the medical archive, but then there could be here also a field like sites, and then you're able also to choose or to use all these filters here for a site configuration.
Do you have anything set up like that as yet that we could actually see?
Let me have a look.
From my perspective, I think it makes sense to have a separate column for, so then you can identify for each study, okay, this study also in the pack, so this study has been performed at Roxborough or Scarborough, or if you have,
because what we have now is we have two different, although we have the medical archive, we have the medical Scarborough, and then we have medical Roxborough. So that differentiates where the study is done, either Roxborough or Scarborough. So I'm assuming what you're suggesting there is it would work if it was only one archive we had. But for now, we have it already separated.
Yeah, you have for Roxborough and Scarborough, you have different archives, but for Buko and all the other, like these small locations, you don't have a difference, correct?
So you're suggesting for they be placed under the Scarborough archive, but just show that the site was done at Buko.
It's up to you. If you say it's important for you also for the future to see these things, then it makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah, the question is, should I switch archives, or I prefer just one vertical history of each patient.
So if
Tobago,
I have
that's your question.
So for example, yeah, I can show you
Macaulay,
that. There's a test patient here. I will share. You can see my screen, or you can't see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Can see it.
Okay,
yeah.
there's for example a test image here, and then this test image here, there's a site, could be then Mount Hope Women's Hospital, could be Eric Williams Hospital, could be then also different other hospitals. This is just here an example.
Yeah, so I understand what you're showing me there now. So at the source, the line that says source, we would still have the different Scarborough or Roxborough archive. But once you select the patient, when it comes down to the second column, you'll be able to differentiate where it was done.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no objection to that. That's fine. We could try that. Because for now, when you select the patient, we can see whether it's done in Roxborough or Scarborough. It will show up in the second area that you have there under study. But it just doesn't say whether it's Scarborough or Roxborough. The only thing that highlights to us that it was either Scarborough or Roxborough. If I'm in one archive and it was done in another location, the writing appears in italics. So you know it wasn't done at that site. But if it is, we're able to have a column that says site, that would be fine as well.
Okay.
What I like that we're having this session and we're able to see your demo servers, and it's a lot of the things that I was going to ask. It's actually showing me that yes, it's possible because I'm seeing some of the things already on your demo system there. So
yeah, so we prepared this already for a customer, depending if they asking for, yeah.
But also all these things relate to the Scarborough, how we utilize the system at these locations. So because we had a discussion about Roxborough, okay, should it be a full independent system? Should it be a dependent system? So you have pros and cons. Important discussion. So to analyze what type of architecture we should proceed with. I think this is the first question to answer together. Here, we have several options. We are very flexible to install concept or somewhere partially in between, like a hybrid. So the possibilities are a lot for us, but each option has advantages, disadvantages. You know, life is always a trade-off. You must select what is important for you. So therefore, short questionnaire to you from Aki, my colleague. So thank you so much for your answers. We can go to this. So I just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yes, I can see your screen, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, the important thing for us about the users, especially for the radiologists. So thank you so much for clear answers. We have very good understanding about the users, how they connect, from which location they connect, and for which hospitals they are reporting the studies. So my conclusion is here. Speaking about Roxborough, you have only Dr.
Your call is breaking up a bit.
Okay. Johannes, can you hear me clearly, or you have any?
At the moment there was just a short noise, but now I can hear you clear.
Yeah. I also periodically I hear kind of background noise.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a little bit background voice, but in general now I can hear you fine.
So Makuli, we lost Makuli.
Okay.
He will come back in a bit. I think he's using his mobile phone, so if he gets a call, he may get kicked off.
Okay. So let's continue. So Akim, you see here, as you just clarified for us, so there is only one doctor working at working at Roxborough to report the studies for both sides, right? And the other users, totally have 10 radiologists, and most of them are reporting from Scarborough. And you have also external doctors who needs to access both systems.
Correct.
This is the overall summary, right? But the conclusion is
So this may change within the next coming months. So I think they have plans on hiring a couple more doctors. Where they would be, I am not sure if it's Roxborough or Scarborough, but when they start to work, then they would be assigned to a location. So for now, I'm not sure if it will be Roxborough or if it would be Scarborough.
Yeah. Okay. So, but this means still also counting the study volume. So you have just around 4,000 cases studies per year, let's say 5,000. And Scarborough, I think about 20,000 per year, as far as I remember. So we have majority of workload at Scarborough. This is a fact. And also number of users who need access to images at Roxborough directly, it's also not much. So you see in total 15. For us, one important point is so which RIS and PACS functions you want to be available full independent. So this is a critical question, how we should proceed with the installation scenario at both locations, okay?
Which functions we want independent from when we do the HIS and HIS?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I'm agree.
Macaulay. You can hear us?
Hey guys, sorry about that. Are you here? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Macaulay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. We have no currency at the head office, so I'm literally trying to use my cell phone to stay in the meeting, but the mobile network just dropped. Yeah, I didn't hear anything, by the way, so you'll have to go over everything again. Apologies.
Yeah, okay. Just to summarize, our conclusion is majority of the workload is on Scarborough side, but not Roxborough side. So you have just one radiologist working for Roxborough on site, and most of, let's say, studies are being at Scarborough. At Scarborough, you have also external radiologists who are parallel reporting for Roxborough and Scarborough. Okay, so it means Roxborough is always depending on internet, right? You need external doctors to join and report. Is this a correct assessment, correct understanding? It's maybe Akim, this is coming from you, I guess.
Yeah, that's the correct understanding.
Okay, and at the same time, what is your expectation? So should Roxborough be full independent, or full independent means a decentralized concept? So every hospital in Tobago gets its own risk packs. This means full independency. We have also possibility to do a centralized concept. We are flexible. We have several options like decentralized, centralized, and so on. But we need your input, and both options has advantages and disadvantages. And key factor is what is more critical for you. I think this is today we should decide together.
Yeah. So the issue that we're having, and I mean and obviously the RHA as an organization changes its pivot every time there's a new leader. So like recently there's a new CEO that just joined, and most likely we may see new leadership coming into the organization, right? But as of the last discussion that we'd have had with all parties concerning the Roxborough hospital, the issue that we're having right now is the fact that when Scarborough goes offline, or there's a major issue in Scarborough, or there's a break in the connection between Roxborough and Scarborough, the Roxborough facility goes dead, right? And so as such, I think the challenge that we're having is how do we resolve that situation, as well as how do we allow for redundancies at the Scarborough Hospital? Because the honest truth is, when the Scarborough Hospital goes offline and there are doctors that wish to read studies or wish to operate the PACs, they pretty much also cannot access any services, right? So that is where our head is at. Like, how do we add redundancies to the solution that would, one, ensure that the data that resides at Scarborough is available in the event that Scarborough has a catastrophic failure or Scarborough goes offline for a long period of time? And secondly, how do we allow the staff at Roxborough to continue to
Yeah, we lost you, luckily.
Yeah, sorry about that. A call came in, so I had to mute it. Yeah, so I don't know what you heard up to, but I think when the call came in, the last thing I was saying was, just to repeat the last sentence, was how do we allow for Scarborough to have those redundancies in the event that that in the event that there's a catastrophic failure at the Scarborough Hospital, that the PACs would continue to be available and the services are available to the physicians that need to access results or access studies, as well as how do we add that redundancy into Roxborough, so that in the event that Scarborough goes offline, we still have the same. So that was really where our head is at, yeah, and what we are wondering how we can achieve both goals at the same time. Yeah.
How frequently is this happening? Rough idea.
Well, the thing is, like for this year, we would ask at our hospital, like from power, there was a power incident at the hospital at Scarborough for a couple of hours, let's say over 4 to 5 hours, where the entire solution went dead. There are times when the AC cooling in the server room may go offline. I mean, these are all outside of IT, but I mean, it's the environment that we exist in, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we have had occasions when there's a fiber break between Roxborough and Scarborough, and the impact of that. So the thing is, Roxborough is the one that gets impacted because most times what we are thinking is, in the event that there is a disaster as well, Roxborough should be able to maintain or be able to run without Scarborough being available. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, if this is main factor, I think, yeah, then it sounds to me a decentralized concept makes much more sense.
And remind me, what is the decentralized concept? Yeah. Just remind me of what that is.
Let's come to these points. Just one thing. In the event of, let's say, disconnection, which functions should exist? Just to access to images, or let's say to fully work with your RIS, writing reports,
Jem, at the moment, we have a gateway in Roxborough running. Correct. So there's a FIFO archive. So actually, the images should be available all the time in Roxborough. Right. Just the RIS is not working in cases that the connection is dropped.
This is what I want to understand. Is this sufficient to have access to new images, incoming images, without any interruption? Studies which are created at Roxborough, plus access to prior images created at Roxborough again in the event of this. Is this sufficient, or all RIS functions must be available as well?
Right. So my challenge that I'm having with your question is, I am really too low in the organization to answer a question like that, right? So what I would say is, maybe the best approach right now would be for us to assume that both options are available for management to choose from. Because the thing is, I thought that Mr. Duke would have joined the meeting, right? Who would have been in a better space than I would be to answer a question like that. Yeah, I really don't want to put my head on a block and say X or Y, you know. But I know that I am aware that the current medical chief of staff is very wary of the fact that the facility is unable to run when there's a break between the two locations, right? So and that is the entire function of the radiology department, which includes this. I know that he has indicated that he's not comfortable. And the last time I had a conversation with Mr. Duke about this, I think where his head was at was if either side has a failure or if either side is unable to function, um, the solution should run. We should have the ability to connect to either side to do work, right? So so I think what he was thinking was, similar to currently how you have your solution set up, where you have the two Proxmox servers, right?
Mhm.
And in the event that one of your Proxmox servers goes offline, the other Proxmox mate has the ability to take the load to help support the solution, right? And as such, the solution in Scarborough continues to run. If I'm correct, right? I'm not misunderstanding how, right? So I think I don't know if his head was in the space of why can't that solution also be available at Roxborough, where in the event that the solution goes offline in Scarborough, that the Roxborough facility has the ability to continue to run and access maybe short-term images that are available on the solution. So I know that he was mentioning that to me. So and of course I am just paraphrasing what he would have said. He would have been better able to explain where his head was at, but that is what he had mentioned to me. So I gave you a synopsis of what Dr. Duke was thinking, and I gave you a synopsis of what Mr. Duke was thinking. So you have both. You have an idea of both. But as I said, I am too low in the organization to make a statement to answer your question. Forgive me for the same. Yeah.
No, it's okay. But as just explained, the images are always available. What you created from the modalities, always present at Roxborough locally. So you have always.
Well, I don't know if that is. Well, I don't know what happens, right? But I don't. Akim still on the call or that's?
I think their challenge is when the system goes down, the doctors cannot see any current stuff. So any patient that they send to radiology during the time when the system is down, they have no access to it. Which is because the risk service is unavailable.
Yeah, at the moment the risk service are not available. Just in the PACS, the gateway Roxborough FIFO archive is available. This is the only thing what is available at the moment in cases like this.
So I think based on information received from the staff, I think that's one of their main concerns. That when the system goes down, they have to literally walk to the radiology area to get access to those images.
Okay.
Okay, so actually they can, I would say they can see the images, but okay, the RIS functions are not available. So the question is then, okay, if it makes sense to have an own RIS instance also in Roxborough, but then also the question for me is, okay, if you are planning to work with an HIS system as main system, then it makes also another difference how you would like to work in the future.
Maybe let's don't complicate too much, Johannes.
Yeah, but
for HIS, I know we must think about this, but let's think at first isolated because I think it makes so difficult to solve this this thing with the inclusion of the HIS integration.
Johannes?
Yeah.
If a patient is not registered on the RIS, they're registered directly on the modality. And that study is and that study is sent off the modality, with it would still show up in the gateway.
It will be done on the gateway, yes, but it's done and on the gateway you can see it, correct?
You will be able to access it from the gateway, but it won't be in the medical folder.
It will not be in the I think then it should be in a discrepancy archive because
Right.
the informations are not completed.
Right, but it should be in the gateway.
It should be on the gateway all the time, yes, and then it will be forwarded to the main archive, Medical Scarborough or Medical
Right.
Roxborough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that for reporting purposes, a report cannot be done.
Correct. Yeah. Because of the in the event of a disconnection, yes, because you don't have the risk access.
Yeah.
Therefore,
yeah, then the only option is to have an own RIS instance in Roxborough. And then just you need there a patient synchronization between Roxborough and Scarborough, because I think you would like to use the same patients which you created already in Scarborough. You would like to use them also for Roxborough, and yeah, then we need an own WebRIS instance for Roxborough on the Roxborough server, on the Web Studio server, and then yeah, like a synchronization between the patients. So if the connection is still there, it's working fine. But if the connection dropped, then the synchronization will be in a like a queue, and we will send. Okay, it's running. They are running HL7 messages in the background. So we will update then one system and the other system with HL7 messages. With I think these are done ADT messages.
I guess as Macaulay said, that decision is a bit above us as to which one the organization wants. So we could probably get both options presented, and the upper management would be able to make that decision, because I'm assuming based on whichever one is decided upon, it would include spending some sort of funds to have it implemented.
just thinking.
So at the moment we have this centralized solution, but yeah, it's sometimes that there are some problems. So I think then if the situation is not if they are not comfortable with the situation at the moment, then the only chance is to switch to a decentral.
Yeah. But
solution.
Akim, Macaulay, you should note that decentralized means two different complete standalone systems. And as you know, you have shared users in case of teleradiology, for example. It means so the biggest advantage, okay, you are fully independent in terms of network, other sites. This is a big advantage, yes. What are disadvantages? We must also know about disadvantages, right? So for us, we see that the data access becomes double system. You need to switch if you are a radiologist. What you need to do, let's say we have a web studio at Roxborough, web studio at Scarborough, right? To report the study. Now, the radiologist must connect to Roxborough, finish his work, let's say RIS-PACS instance 1, and if I want to report for Scarborough, then I connect to the web studio, so other server, web studio, RIS-PACS instance B. Okay, so it works like this. Are you able to, or am I give a clear explanation, or it's not clear for you?
So you have to switch all the time between the instances if you are working in Scarborough or if you are working in Roxborough.
Like, so it's same like, for example, here, let me share my screen quickly. There's a screen share, I cannot see it. Okay, here.
I will stop my
Yeah.
sharing.
Okay, for example, like this. Let's say here, let's imagine, okay, Sangre Grande, Scarborough, whatever. So you have Scarborough and you have Roxborough. Let's say I'm a teleradiologist from Main Island, Trinidad, or doesn't matter if I'm working at home as Dr. Konduru or any other radiologist of TRHA. So then in a decentralized concept, I select here, start my work, okay? Log into this web studio. Maybe it's better to show it directly. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I connect to here, okay, our demo server. Here, my PACS will start. RIS PACS and so on. Here, okay, maybe I'm reading this patient, blah, blah, writing report with the RIS. And maybe later on, I need to switch it to other location, like, okay, like this. Let's imagine this is Roxborough now, and I'm connecting to this location, starting my RIS or PACS and so on. I have other patient and like this, okay, here, my next patient, and I switch between, okay, here, Roxborough maybe, and okay, I go to Scarborough, something like this. This, in a centralized concept, I just work with one connection, and I see whole workflow. So this is the advantage of centralized. So it's a kind of trade-off. We should decide on which one is more higher priority, what is most important. Is this clear for you, Makuli? Hakeem?
Yeah, it's clear. And if the doctors were working in-house on a workstation, then would that mean what there will be two EMR applications on the PC, one linking to Scarborough, one linking to Roxborough, and each has to be opened independently? Just a question.
Johannes, what do you think? I think you need a web studio access, isn't it?
Yeah, if they are working in Roxborough, okay, they have access to their FIFO archive, but it's also the point that you are doing your long-term archiving for Roxborough is also done in Scarborough. So that means your main archives for Roxborough and Scarborough are actually in Scarborough. Just the gateway is at the moment in Roxborough. So if you would like to see your previous exams, okay, the gateway, the FIFO archive, you can see the last images. But if you would like to see, for example, previous exams, which are 2 or 3 years older, then you have to open the studies also from the Scarborough Hospital server.
I think the point is here, Akim. Let's say the patient is. We have this case. Let's say you have a patient scanned at Roxborough and another patient scanned at Scarborough, right? These workflows are executed on two different risks: risk Scarborough, risk Roxborough. And reports are also created at risk A, risk B, right? It means, let's say, I'm Dr. Roxborough radiologist Romani, okay, Dr. Romani. Let's say I report for my own hospital, Roxborough. I also want to, I need to report also Scarborough. This is what I understand because you highlighted, okay, Dr. Romani reports for cases from Roxborough, but also cases from Scarborough. Then it means a case from Scarborough, I must connect to the RIS at Scarborough, catch the workflow, the patient, reporting step, and finish my report on Scarborough RIS. If I continue my patients at Roxborough, I then start my, I go back to my connection to Roxborough, something like this. So you need to switch between applications in terms of radiologists.
Yeah, I think I understand that part of it.
So then it means your, let's say, Dr. Romani's reporting workstation at Roxborough. Permanent access always is RISPACs, okay, working locally for cases at Roxborough. And if he needs to connect to other site, Scarborough, he starts the Web Studio application, like here. He goes to Scarborough server, hits the button, connect, like this.
And shallow.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying there.
And start the RIS application at Scarborough, work there, finish the workflow step, and yeah, complete the task. Of course, for the clinicians, life is a bit different. I think it's much more easier. We can, for example, we can have a cross-site archive search. So in the PACS, even if they connect locally, we can configure cross-archive query. So they can still work just with one EMR manager for clinicians for image distribution in-house for Roxborough. They just see local pictures plus the site information or source, medical Roxborough, medical Scarborough. So based on the cross-archive searching function, they can see complete history of the patients. So for clinicians, it doesn't really affect them. It's the main point is for radiologist workflow. And also, in addition to, if we want a decentralized concept, so Macaulay, as you know, this is an all-in-one Web Studio solution. So this one, yeah, for the DMZ discussion, then we need to have a dedicated PACS server plus a web server separate. Then you need a second Web Studio server, at least. This is the minimum configuration. Let's say the minimum investment concept is one Web Studio is only for risk packs locally and dedicated web server additionally for Roxborough.
Yeah, so noted. And to the point that Mr. Duke was making concerning a similar setup current to what we currently have at Scarborough, where there's a Proxmox server that is pretty much in standby at the site, right? In the event of a failure, or there's a like a server failure at the Scarborough General, right? Does that solution, can that solution also extend to a site like Roxborough, as in a third Proxmox server that sits there awaiting maybe both servers going offline, and then we connect into these two servers once the connection becomes available again?
Do you mean failover switching from one side to the other
Sort
one?
of like a failover, correct? Yeah, sort of like a failover. Yeah.
This is too much risk, because you say, Macaulay, you have infrastructure issues, sometimes power down and in network. So we must typically, the synchronization between two servers are direct cable connection. In large scenarios, we have fiber. If something goes wrong with the database synchronization or images, we are not just simple database. We must synchronize the images, which are the big data. If something goes wrong, you have a complete mess. It's a huge risk. We cannot.
Well, I hear that, but the thing is, like, I'm sure that some of your clients may even be looking at solutions in the cloud, which to me would have an even worse connection back to the PAC solution. Yeah. So, but and again, this is just a question that we're asking from purely a technology point of view. Just to see if it is possible or not. So I heard your answer, but we just wanted confirmation that that this would not work, and this has not been tested or tried by the VEPRO team. Yeah. So that's really where we are at. Because the honest truth is, we are also exploring the option of putting in a hyperconverged infrastructure for our locations, which would have a 3-node solution for the rest of our data centers, or 3-node plus, right? And Roxborough being that site that has a 3-node plus 1 in the event of a failure. So that site kind of becomes our main location for the region in the event of an outage. So that's where that question comes from. Yeah. So once you tell me it is not I mean, I hear your answer, but I just wanted to confirm that this is not something that any of your other clients are doing, and it's definitely a no. Yeah.
What we did one time is that we did like a this synchronization, that we have 2 locations and they are sending messages to each other, but I would not recommend this. Yeah.
Yeah, noted.
It's a risk, Macaulay. So
let me ask a question outside of this this conversation, right? I know that the TRHA, for some strange reason, was not included in the connection of the other RHAs in Trinidad with their PAC solutions, right? For whatever reason that was. Could you just give me an overview of how that is scheduled to work? Just from is it that the solution would exist as different work areas that they can select through their packs, or is it that this would be purely through a web studio connection? Just out of curiosity, in the event that if we have to join someday. Yeah,
typically, in such cases we have many options. This is very related to what is your vision, what is the expectation, and such things. But for let's say for the main island, Trinidad, what we have foreseen also a kind of decentralized concept, because the main point is you have typically most of your if you consume images, right, to view, to process everything, 90% of the workflow happens on site in the hospital. But you have also sometimes like satellite hospitals, you have maybe just modalities there and so on. Then we are routing the images to central server, and they are sharing a kind of RIS together. But you have also large hospitals. Just to give you an example, for instance, from Trinidad again, ARIMA in the north central region, right? And Eric Williams also in north central region. So a hospital like ARIMA should never be just depending on other hospital. It must be fully independent. So it must have its own risk packs, always up and running without any dependency to network or such things. So here then we have a decentralized architecture. But in terms of patient history, we configured also as just a demo purpose, not only for cross hospital, but cross region. For example, you have a patient, John Doe, scanned at San Fernando General Hospital, and the same patient, John Doe, at Eric Williams. So as a longitudinal patient history, we have a possibility to realize a cross-archive searching function. So a clinician has a possibility to see every scan of the patient, maybe CT, thorax, X-rays, images for lung and all these things. Independent of the location, the doctor can see all the patient history. And this is the nice thing. So you don't need to, okay, if there's already a CT thorax, you don't need to ask again from the radiology, please do another CT thorax scan. So he can see these results, reports, images together, and process the information like this, plan the next steps with the patient. So this is how we have implemented the installations, roughly to say.
Okay. All right, understood.
Mm-hmm. And for teleradiology, again, just by web studio connection, I just jump to the hospital there. If I need to support, it's very easy. Just move on. The user just logs into one side and then the other side. And the also good part of it, you are not moving the images from one location to the other. This is also a nice thing because you don't create copies. If you do a measurement on an image or if you mark some key images, it's immediately available to the local doctors because everybody works with the one data. This is also the great advantage of a decentralized concept, the real-time access to all studies. Okay, so coming back to, let's say, failover, also for Roxborough, we have also possibility to install a dedicated cluster server system by its own. This is more expensive, of course. Then you have also possibility to, if you want to be more cost efficient, then we can install dual web studio. One is isolated, only accessible by local network, and the second web studio we can provide it for web services like teleradiologist. Any person, any doctor from anywhere can connect and finish the workflow, write reports, complete tasks. If you want registration clerks, for example, create orders from Roxborough to Scarborough, such things, they can switch to the RIS at Scarborough or Roxborough, create order for that patient. It works like this. Any questions? Or?
No more questions for me. I because I was in and out, I sort of missed a lot of the conversations that we had. So as soon as I get the recording, I will sit down and go through it, and then I would discuss it with Mr. Duke, and we will get back onto you before the week is out. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Concerning the expansion of the packs and the integration with RIS, I just want to give you an update. Coming on to the end of the year last year, we were advised by the procurement team that we would need to actually send a tender document
Okay.
to you, right? So that is the reason why it wasn't sent, because I was under the impression that we'd have just had to do a quote, a request for quote,
Okay.
right, or proposal. But so look out for that from them. It will be a sole select. So you would need to work on that, yeah.
Okay.
All
You
right,
mean
so,
cardiology expansion or HIS integration? Which expansion?
both the cardiology and the HIS integration, yeah. But yeah, so that's the reason why that I know you mentioned that the prices may increase this year. Right, so I just wanted to get a heads up as to why you didn't see the document coming forward, because I was ready to go, but then I was told to hold on the thing. And one last question to you while we're here. So as you know, we did not refresh most of the workstations that are currently used in throughout the hospital, which would be for registration and reporting for the smaller areas, not the clinicians, not the not the replacements for the three. Well, Med PC 01 to 6, right? And the one that we recently bought for Dr. Romani, right? Just for our clarification, is it the what is the, because it's a question that we would have had. Is it that the RHA can go ahead and purchase computers and use the PAC system on the same, or is it that VEPRO has a hard line to ask the client to purchase their equipment? Because we're not very clear as to what is the policy or what we should how we should approach this. Yeah.
For diagnostics.
Not for diagnostic. This would be like for registration, for using the VIS on a day-to-day basis, where we would just the various as well as to pull down reports for printing that would be completed on the diagnostic workstations by the various staff members.
Yeah, for simple, let's say, tasks, it's okay that you have your own PCs. This is not a problem.
Okay.
Even if you want to go as far as attaching external documents, like important files onto the packs, would that work as well?
Yeah, then we must install our applications.
And do you install those applications on our workstations, or do they have to be installed on a VEPRO machine?
What are our requirements, Johannes, here regarding?
So I know also that we give just support to install the workstations. If these are not non-VEPRO workstations. So I think this is here more like the ODBZ driver in the background, which is needed, and yeah. Then also, okay, if it's one monitor, two monitor configuration, on which monitor we would like to see the EMR, on which one we would like to see the RIS, etc. These settings we are doing in the background. Yeah, but actually if for we can support then also, depending on how many workstations.
This is typically charged, yeah, per effort for the installation. But at the end, these are not, kind of support coverage. If something must be, because you are controlling this environment, you have no touch on this hardware. So typically, support tickets are handled separately in such a case. That's the main factor. But for such simple tasks, you can use and your PCs. If you have, let's say, specific needs like, okay, vPro application, maybe packs must be installed. With additional service charges, we can build this.
All right, cool.
Mm.
All right, noted. Thank you.
For me, the most critical point is regarding all these expansions, HIS integration, cardiology. It's not so critical. It's more, it's also related to HIS integration somehow. So everything is a bit interlinked together. So I think to solve this, about this tender and so on, first we must decide in which direction we are going. Decentralized, centralized, because what Johannes showed, it's a really nice solution, but it's more like, okay, you have centralized different sites you can select, but then this has no meaning if we have a decentralized, because everybody will work isolated in their own environment. So if we come to HIS integration, then it means we are doing full integration. RIS Roxborough, RIS-PACS Roxborough, RIS-PACS Scarborough must be interfaced separately to HIS. So all these things changing how we go forward. I think this is the first decision that you should.
So question. No. Yeah, sorry about that. You hear me now? Hello?
Now.
It paused there for a second. Yeah, I'm saying Tobago is a small island. So I know that you may have clients that have multiple hospitals in a geographic area, right? Or large facilities that access your solution. Let's just say they exist somewhere in one country, and they have, let's say, 3 or 4 facilities that have radiology equipment. What is the most common rollout or solution that is currently installed at those locations, if I may ask?
It's all depending on what others are doing. Not so important for you, because you have your own environment, own parameters, Makuli. So for example, if we are talking about an infrastructure which is always up and running, this is something else, then you are maybe okay with a full centralized solution like RIS-PACS and so on. But in your case,
I understand. What I'm saying is, I understand.
And we must adapt your conditions. This is important.
Yeah, so Chem, I understand. So I understand that, and I'm comfortable with the response that you're giving. But what I'm saying is, your other clients that have multiple hospitals that exist currently, what is the most common solution that they use for their VEPRO installations? Is it a decentralized solution?
If you have smaller locations, like 2, 3, or 5 modalities, few doctors, and let's say these are satellite locations, and you have one large hospital. It's like an organization chart, right? We have your, let's say, mother hospital and child. children hospitals. Okay, so child gets, let's say, more like a centralized, working on a centralized system. But the point is, if you have also another mother hospital, you should never put it under another mother hospital. It must be the parent must be standalone, fully independent. I see in general, if you had no issues for, let's say, infrastructure problems, let's say internet or power shortages, or more likely, or hurricanes, anything can happen. Then I would say centralized would be the best fit for Roxborough, because you see only 5,000 studies per year. This is not much. So if you do investment from scratch, you need to double the cost of servers, double the cost of licenses, double the cost of maintenance updates. You are managing a full independent system. Users must be created for both systems and separately. But you have this special case. If being fully independent is the pressing need due to this infrastructure things, then we must do it in this way. So the best practice at geography A cannot be applied at geography B.
All right, understood. Well, let us review the documentation, the video with Mr. Duke, and get back on to you. Yeah, and I know he just joined, so
yeah. And the point is, it's not the matter of we receive a tender document, we are responding. Important is we have a long-term solution for you, so we can respond to a tender and tomorrow, okay, should we change it? We shouldn't work together like this. You can keep it on hold until we have a clear way in which direction we are going. Makuli, anything we can help you to give such decision? What do you think? I don't want to also confuse you, but we must speak openly what are pros and cons of both scenarios. So how can we help you to come up with the right decision?
yeah. So as I said, let me review the recording from the session today. Okay. Let me chat with Mr. Duke, sure. And we will get back on to you before the week is out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also need to chat with our colleagues in Trinidad with their PACS integration and expansion, because the TRHA would also need to be part of those conversations as well. Mm-hmm. So that may also play a part in the conversation or discussion that we would have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. So maybe let's meet somewhere next week again about this topic.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. That's a good idea.
Maybe you need, I don't know, same day would be okay. Monday next week. To everyone, or I'm flexible at the moment.
Yeah, well, let's send you the email first, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little bit later next Monday. I'm available.
Fine for me. Yeah.
Okay. So about 9:30 your time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything?
Before we go, there was one more thing that I wanted to see if we could address. I'm not sure who did it, but one of your colleagues worked with Dr. Romani recently, where she was having some issues with her signature appearing on the reports automatic. And what they did for her was remove her. They said she had multiple user accounts, and they removed her VIS account, her domain VIS account, so she only now has access to the VIS via the web studio. So when she's in-house, she cannot log into the VIS application on the PC.
She has an account, an domain account, and she's able to log in with the domain account.
She's able to log into the AMR, but she says she cannot access the VIS.
Okay, I know that my colleague, I think Wakas was working on that. He was sending some emails to her, but he didn't receive the response. So maybe if she can send an email that she's not able to or maybe with the credentials she's using at the moment, and then we should check it maybe with her together what is not working at the moment. I think then that this is the easiest way to have a direct appointment, one of my colleagues then and her together to have a look directly on her system, and then I think then we can fix it quickly.
Can you, because I would like to be there when this is happening. Is it possible that we could probably schedule a date, a time, so that we can?
Yeah, sure. So if needed, I can also join, but yeah, actually, I know that my colleague Wakas, he was working on that. So yeah, sure, we can define a date and time. It's no problem, and then to have a look together with her.
So I guess you could discuss with your colleague and let us know, and I would speak with her as well, so that
Yeah,
we
then
could try to get this issue sorted out once and for all for her.
okay, I will ask him to send you and also Dr. Romani an invitation for the next days, to have a look on her account.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. There were a couple other VIS items that I wanted to discuss, but they're not really major modifications. So I could probably send you an email with it, and you could just let us know.
Okay. Yeah, then send it to me. I will have a look.
I don't know if Macaulay has anything else to add.
So I think we are done, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's organize our brains and discuss next week further.
Okay.
All right.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. See you then. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, and see you then.
See you. Bye. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.